Hi, everybody. This is your good friend Joel here, once again, coming to you live from the bedroom. What should I talk about? The Toronto Blue Jays signed Dylan Cease to a 7-year, $210 million deal. That, if you're any good at math, then you know that 21 divided by 7 equals $30 million. Is that an overpay? Well, let's see what we're getting. We're getting a 28-year-old um, pitcher, really in the prime of his life, who's been a workhorse, top three in the league in terms of innings pitched over the last 5 years, along with Gossman and Berrios. So what are we going? What are we going to get here? Let's take a look at what we already have. So Kevin Gossman is awesome, amazing starter, total money in the bank. Big swing and miss, forkball based pitcher, splitter, really. Now, the thing with Gossman is that he's 35. So I think that the Jays have him for what, one more season, 2 more seasons, and then he's going to be a free agent. Now, that means that we have our ace is aging. If we take Dylan Cease, 28 years old, yes, he is coming off of a down year. However, even with the down year, he was doing a lot of good things, right? A lot of the stats were awesome. He pitched excellent in the playoffs for the Padres in the one game that he pitched. I think it was 3.2 innings, and he struck out like 4,000 guys in those 2 innings, or some 3.2 innings. So what do we get? We get somebody who can step into that ace role or number 2 role, depending on who else is on the horizon for us. Trey Savage, very young guy. But what do? We get somebody who can step into that, and now we have long-term stability at the front of the rotation. Another thing that I really like about this deal, aside from the actual pitching aspect, which is really big, our starting rotation is awesome. One other thing that I really like about it is that, all of a sudden, the message that's being sent to the rest of the league, to any other players that were potentially suiting, whether it's Bo Bichette, whether it's Cody Bellinger, whether it's Kyle Tucker, is that the Jays are in it to win it. And the Jays, this is our time. I think that one thing that the Jays have going for them is that the clubhouse atmosphere is high. I mean, people around the league must want to be part of this team. They got pretty much a nightclub for wins, like in the clubhouse. Everybody on the team seems to have a great rapport. You have a commitment to bringing in high quality people who can play ball in key situations. The Jays brought in Max Scherzer last year. They already had Chris Bassett. What a cool bunch of dudes in that pitching rotation, you know? And then Bieber comes in. He wants to stick around. He wants to play for another year. He extended his contract, right? Pretty much at a steal for the Blue Jays, right? So if I'm a pitcher around the league, if I'm Dylan Cease, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is a bullpen that I would love to be a part of. We have one of the best pitching coaches in the league in Pete Walker. We have a great catcher who can frame pitches, who's good with the pitchers, and Alejandro Kirk, Captain Kirk. And there's a lot to like if you're one of the top aces around the league. You know that it's going to be a good time. You know that you're going to have an entire country behind you, and you know that you have a superstar who can deliver in the playoffs in Vladimir Guerrero. Also, you have an amazing defense behind you. So there's a lot of reasons for pitchers to want to come to Toronto right now, as has been the case for the last few years. Now, what about hitters? What about Bo Bichette? What about possibly Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger? First of all, there is some potential upside that's coming off of injury for the Jays. Santander had a really, really awful year. I kind of have been speculating that the reason why the Orioles let him go, which was 44 home runs off the books for them, and they didn't fare too well. They didn't get anywhere close to smelling the playoffs last year, is if that guy can come back, if that guy can be healthy, that's going to be a big bopper in the middle of the lineup, and I totally could see that happening. Also, a lefty bat. I don't know what you do with him and Springer, but this team seems to be kind of oriented around, just put me out there, put me in whatever the team needs to win, and we're going to do it. It's sort of like, in some cases, it's a right fielder by committee. They had Lucas out there. Springer was playing DH. You had different guys rotating into left field. So, I mean, we have some guys even on our own that could step in there and maybe provide a big lift. Bo Bichette. Yes, Bo Bichette would be amazing to have back on like a contact hit with some power in there. Elite, right? Probably the best in the league. One of the best in the majors. If he is healthy. But he has had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years, which have taken him out of... I mean, he would have gotten a $300 million contract right now, wouldn't he? So, what's going to happen? In my opinion, signing Dylan Cease, $210 million, long-term deal. You got Vladdy locked up. What you're really doing is you're setting the stage for guys like Bo Bichette to make it more difficult for them to sign anywhere else. If I'm Bo Bichette, I've been here for a long time. I grew up a Blue Jay. I know what's happening here. A couple of years ago, I would probably be flying the coop. Go down to Miami, go to San Diego, LA, wherever. I don't know, the Giants. At this point, the message that I'm receiving is, if I leave, the Blue Jays have a really good chance of being a winner long term. So maybe it's a good idea for me to stick around. Sign a 4-year deal, sign a 5-year deal, sign a long-term deal. I know that I have more of an opportunity to play shortstop here in Toronto. Probably somewhere else I'm going to go play second base. I think that Bo Bichette would be better at second base, but they could switch him up over here. And if I'm Kyle Tucker, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, these Blue Jays are not messing around. And that is going to be a really loud, fun place with a lot of potential to play deep into the postseason. And we saw what happened in this postseason. The Blue Jays had an epic run, made it to the World Series. Are they going to do it next year? You never know. You never know what happens. The Blue Jays got on a heater. They had some really clutch hits. There's a bit of a luck element to all that clutch, so who knows. Any case, Dylan Cease is a Blue Jay. $210 million. I love it. I think it's amazing. What is the starting rotation now? We got Gossman, Cease, Jaysology. There's a lot of question marks still about Jaysology. He's 22 years old. In my opinion, it'd be nice for him to start in AAA. Or even start off just throwing like 4 innings. Don't expose him too much. I'm sure the Blue Jays are thinking about this. So you got Gossman, Cease, Jaysology. Then you have Bieber, Barrios, Lauer. Let's not forget about the one thing that I think that the Blue Jays, like a glaring hole here, is that we don't have a lefty starter. I would not be surprised if the Jays traded somebody like Barrios for a lefty starter before the season begins. That said, I am like one of the rare Barrios fans. I think Barrios is a great pitcher. He's got awesome stuff. He's been super durable. He's just probably exhausted. I mean, like, he's thrown so many innings over the last few years, and yeah, it's good that he had the end of the season to kind of rest up some wear and tear. Okay, so those are my thoughts on Dylan Cease. We'll see how it progresses. And this is my first time doing a kind of Jays talk thing, so we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll do some more. I'm definitely a big fan, so yeah, there it is.